foreigners in Japan, uh, two categories. One, visitors. Another one, of course, residents. So, number of visitors to Japan last year reached 43 millions. That's a big number. These data are based on Asahi Shimbun, Asahi newspaper, Japan, one of Japan's top two most influential newspapers. 43 millions. That means there are no longer high season, low season in tourism. There used to be cherry blossom season, sometime March, April, the busiest, and then go down to kind of a quiet, low season, off season, and then once again come back autumn for autumn colors. That is a kind of patterns. There used to be a big gap between high season, low season, but this figure, 43 millions a year. That means there is no longer such gap exists. Of course, cherry blossom season busiest. Maybe that each month, March, April, more than 4 billions. But after that particular busiest season, ordinary season, ordinary months, still probably about 3 millions. So there are no big drop, not valley. They're all kind of constant, large figures. So more than 40 millions. That is a big figure. Where people go, there are of course famous tourist places, particularly Kyoto. So many people come to Kyoto. Kyoto is a destination for Japanese, of course, one of the most popular domestic destinations. Now, if you go to Kyoto, you see more foreigners moving around. There's a big kind of trend that may affect the life of local people. So many people. People need to move from one place to another. Kind of popular the temples and shrines, and Kyoto has many exciting places to visit. So people move. If you are part of group tours, they may be coaches move around. But otherwise, if you come to such major cities as an individual tourist, you pick up local buses, local trains, some other means of moving around. The infrastructure, actually, local people rely on infrastructure. But if the ordinary means of moving around, more than half may be occupied by foreigners, that of course affect people's lives. So there are something actually, the local government, municipalities, they try to introduce different fares between the citizens of the city, residents of the city, and then outsiders. That doesn't matter Japanese or foreigners. So they are double price actually going to be introduced. The typical example is Himeji Castle. Himeji, Kyoto here. Himeji is located in Hyogo Prefecture, around here, nearby Kobe. Kobe is the capital city of Hyogo Ken, Hyogo Prefecture. So this Himeji Samurai Castle, so popular, the original. Japan has when you move around, there are many castle buildings, samurai castles, about 100 all over Japan. But the original one, uh, after end of Tokugawa shogunate, that is the end of samurai period, it happened 1867, 68, during a Meiji restoration. There are many, actually, because no longer feudal period. So castles are symbol of old Japan. So they are dismantled, they are sold their land, and many of them disappeared. Only 20 remains, but some are destroyed during the war, like Hiroshima Castle, Okayama Castle, Nagoya Castle. Before end of the war, they are air bombed many parts of Japan, so some destroyed. Himeji Castle is also air bombed, but the castle survived. And 12 castles, the kind of original castles. 5 of them national treasure, designated as a national treasure. Himeji is one of them, and probably most popular samurai castles still exist in this part of Japan. So Himeji Castle entrance fee is 1,000 yen, something like this. But, regardless of residents and foreigners or whomever come, but the Himeji Municipal Office decided to introduce double-decker prices. Himeji citizens, they are still same, 1,000 yen, but otherwise people need to pay 2,500 yen or something like this. So this kind of double-decker prices introduced some part. And this trend is probably increasing. There are many other places they start thinking about whether it is better or not to introduce different prices. And particularly for foreigners, everything price, all the prices in Japan are very cheap because of the cheap yen rate. We have a time that $1 for 100 yen. That is kind of depends on your generation, but there was a time calculation. They're very easy. So $1, 100 yen. So you make it 3-digit. Just make very easy, simple calculations. But today, about 160 yen. So things in Japan are so low prices, very cheap to anybody who are coming from outside. So this is there are many actually the elements, the circumstances people have to consider. Is it the right thing to place double prices, double the kind of price categories? But anyway, this number of visitors, last year 43 million, but they're still increasing. They probably easy to reach 50 million, 60 million. That is a goal of Japanese government by the 2030s. But visitors, this is a tourism. We call it inbound. This is a big thing. The something to do with charms of beauties of Japan, and how people find out that kind of things. It need another topics, another program to talk about the Japanese details of Japanese tourism. for the people, millions of people, more important thing is the visa status. The people come to Japan, of course, 43 million for tourism. They come to enjoy many things about Japan. But there are millions of people who work in Japan. So this is a completely different subject. Now, the residents. This also unprecedented figures reached last year. This is a very much actually important figure for both foreign residents and Japanese populations. So this is Japanese population. It said the population of Japan. This is a current year. So the population somewhere around 126 million, 125 million, 124 million, less and less each year. The most latest figure, according to newspaper, 122 millions, somewhere 122, 123 millions. This is a population quite surprising figure. 2-3 decades ago, turn of the century, from 20th to 21st century, our population was somewhere around 125. People talk about 125, 26, but now only 122 million or 23 millions. Big change. And this figure include foreign residents. Foreign residents hit 4 million. That is also very big figure, 4 million. If you are in Japan before turn of the century, say 1980s, 1990s, and foreign population is somewhere around 2 million to 2.5 millions, and that is a kind of our image. But the numbers rapidly increasing, and last year reached 4 millions. So this, when we talk about the population, ordinarily we include foreign residents. So this one, 122, 123 million include 4 million residents. 4 million residents. That means kind of Japanese population, Japanese nationals population is now smaller than 120 million. Maybe 100, could be 180, 19 millions. Smaller than 120 millions. That is a kind of big surprise. Rapid decrease of Japanese population and rapid increase of foreign residents. This is a figure, 122.6 millions. Number of population 4 million, that is equivalent of 4% of Japanese population. There used to be, until just recently, when you pick up any figure, foreign residents in Japan is 3% of the population. But now it already reached 4%. This 4 million, there are two categories of these numbers. Because some people come to Japan for work, or some foreigners, they are in Japan as residents, not counted as a labor force. So we have a breakdown of this 4 million. Number of foreign workers. And 1.5 million is simply say residents. They are permanent residents or special permanent residents status, different. And there are spouse of residents, Japanese, and spouse of special residents, permanent residents, which means the Koreans, South Korea, North Korea, they lived before end of the war, and Japan annexed Korean Peninsula. So the Koreans, they live in Japan as a kind of Japanese. So now, of course, Korea, South Korea, North Korea, independent country. But until 1945, situation is different. So the people, Koreans, kept their residence in Japan, somewhat specially treated, given special visa as a permanent residence. So a 250,000 Korean actually offsprings under the permanent visas or special permanent visas. So when we consider foreigners in Japan, they are expected to be a part of workforce. So Japan population has been decreasing, and the actually aging society, people reached baby boomers reached retirement age, and so core of Japanese labor market is a kind of shrinking. Industry demand more workforce to run the business. So they are demanding the government to open the Japanese labor market to foreign nationals. That's why this large number of people flooding into Japan to be part of Japanese labor force, 労働力. We are here, the population here, 120 to 23 million. And currently, 3%, according to the newspaper, issued sometime the early this year. This sometime 20 middle of 2010s, the Japanese government opened the labor market to promote the kind of campaign to receive more the workers from outside. Before say 1910, turn of the century, foreign workers are quite limited. Maybe some Japanese origin Brazilians, South Americans, they are given special visa to come to Japan to work for automobile industries, manufacturing industries, most of them. So their number is quite limited. But sometime around the 2012, 13, government changed the policy to receive more workforce from outside. But the question is, what kind of visa people come to Japan? And what are the kind of binding conditions on that particular visas? And numbers gradually increasing. That until it reached millions, things are very quiet because people don't see the foreigners around. Only some manufacturing, industrial places. There are maybe some workers from outside, not the entire Japan. But the situation is now changing. Not only manufacturing industries, there are some other industries, high demand for the laborers. So 3% to 4% ratio of foreign workers among Japanese population, still very low. If you look into the kind of Western countries, for Japanese Western countries, with Obe Shokoku, Europe and North America and that kind of countries. So Denmark, 11% foreign population, and France, 13%, and Britain, 14%, Germany, 18%, Australia, 21%, Sweden, similar, 20%. But Australia, the probably biggest figure, 21.8%. So 10%, 50% to 20%, this is a kind of normal ratio of the foreign residents in most of so-called Western countries. But Japan, only 3%. This is a very, very low rate. These countries, so-called Western countries, they have been receiving migrants. So immigration is one of major issues in many countries. But in Japan, there is no immigration policies because there is no immigration policy in Japan. Immigration is not part of Japanese government policies. foreign workers allowance for this figure, these numbers for different industries, or as a whole, how many are allowed to come into Japan to seek for work. But it's workers, not migrants. So this is a very, very eccentric country. This is a not small country. The nation with 120, 130 million population, but without any immigration policy. So people, millions of people live and work here. They are controlled under the very strict the visa status. This is the labor force. Between year 2000, 2020, 25, so just recently, over last 2.5 decades. Workforce, year 25 years ago, year 2000, about 68 millions, but each year coming down, and there are some the recovery, but the coming down again, and sometime around 2011, 12, the workforce, the figure, bottom of the graph, only 66 million or something like this. That's the kind of probably smallest figure you see in accordance with the up and downs of labor power figures. Here, something happened. This is the time Japan suffered from disaster, earthquake, tsunami, and Fukushima nuclear power meltdown. A big thing happened that influenced Tohoku area, even some Hokkaido, because epicenter here off the coast of Miyagi, Ken, Iwate Ken, around here. So tidal wave destroy coastlines and the Fukushima nuclear plant here. They also actually radiation problem. That's one of the worst year for Japanese kind of the people's lives, economy, industry, and the many things, okay, education, very much influenced. Schools, some schools completely destroyed. So many people lost a job. That's a kind of the cause of this deep valley. But also, around here, so 2015, around baby boomers reached retirement age. Baby boomers probably this word are understandable to many people. Baby boomers are very historic term. In Japan, after Pearl Harbor attack, 1941, Japan started a war against the United States, against Britain, against the Holland, and of course China. So this Japanese military forces, they come down and occupy Southeast Asian countries, like present today's Vietnam and Malay, Singapore, Philippines, Indonesia, and Burma, today's Myanmar. So these areas occupied by Japanese military forces. Millions of Japanese went to such areas. Maybe 6 million, 7 million. After the war ended, 1945, during the war, of course, probably 2 million soldiers, Japanese, lost their lives. And 1 million citizens also lost their lives. So 3 million, that is a Japanese total casualty during the war. After the war, there are still millions somewhere around. And China, the Manchuria under Japanese military administration. When war ended, Russia came down, and about say 500,000, 600,000 soldiers are taken to Siberia. They worked for constructing railways. Throughout the year, many stay there multiple years. That means they have to go through winter. Siberia winter. How you can survive with very much a poor living conditions? So tens of thousands of people died in Siberia alone. But of course, millions of people come back. So 1946, 47, they come back. If you are around here, there is a place here, Maizuru, facing the Sea of Japan side. This is Kyoto Prefecture, Maizuru. The ships returning to this Maizuru, and there are some other ports, and then they go home. If still home there, they're united with their families and their wives, and they start fresh life. They find out the spouse. So 1947, 1948, 9, there are baby boomers. 2.6 each year is 3 years. 2.6 million, 2.7 million babies are born. Unbelievable numbers. But this is natural actually course of the event. When they are the men stay outside Japan some years, they come back, join the wife, get marriage. So these are natural consequences that's having so many new population, 2.6, 2.7 million each year. This is a called baby boomer generation. And if you pick a single year, so you are one of 2.6 million. When you grown up, school, and join the workforce, and establishing your life, everything you have to compete with your generation. Competitions, very, very the energetic, dramatic the lives, that part of Japanese population. So when they reach age 20s, they marry, get another baby. So this is the second baby boomers. And then second baby boomers, say probably each year maybe 1.7, 1.8 million, could be 2 million, because when they marry, different actually, the time of their age 20s and 30s. But anyway, baby boomer children, second baby boomer, and their kids, partial baby boomers. So the certain Japanese actually, when you see population graph, that's very unique. But maybe the Americans, the Europeans, they fight a war for half a decade, and so probably a similar phenomena occurred some part of the world. But Japan with a typical baby boomers. So baby boomers, when they reach retirement age is sometimes age traditionally, 90s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, most of the second half of 20th century, retirement age 60. So age 60, they finish work and get freedom with their pension. But this pension system is very much burden to government coffers. Healthcare, the welfare, and kind of social security, the pension, they cost a huge amount of money because the population is aging. When baby boomers are young, age 20, 30, 40s, they support aged generation. Maybe 10 people support one pensioner. And gradually, 5 people support one pensioner. And 3 people support one pensioner. That is a kind of reality this country have to go through. So government spent a decade to revise the system of retirement age. Retirement age 60. Most of the companies and the government employees, and then gradually reach to 65. So if you get the retirement age 60, then you immediately you receive pensions, but they're shifting to different actually the contents of the recipients. 5 years, 5 years gap, gradually changing the system, and somewhere around here, people start receiving at the age of 65. The pension begins age at 65. If you can receive at age 60, but the greatly reduced amount. So people wait until they reach 65. So this 5 years gap is a big gap. So government recommend industries to extend retirement age, not 60, too early, because they need to wait until age 65 to receive the pension. So this is a recommendation. Some company actually they actually amend their internal company regulations to increase the retirement age. But this is not compulsory, no binding the fines or the punishment. So it's all up to the company. But anyway, this is the kind of the big change happened sometime after we enter 21st century. So this big event, disaster happened, and many people lost their job and cannot work because many things happen. So this is a kind of bottom figure, and you see the lines rising. That means the people who are affected by a disaster gradually come back to the labor market. And also, baby boomers, after they reach retirement age, after they start receiving pensions, many people, pension not enough to survive. So even after age 65, or even after age 70, there are many people continue working. There's some company can give a special status within the company. Most of the cases, if you have a contract with the company, you retired, company still keep you as a workforce. In this case, your salary, wage down to 60%, 70%. Last year, you receive, say, 8 million yen as annual income. But now, this is kind of 5 million, 6 million yen, something like this. But that is much better than doing nothing. Doing nothing means no income. So income beside pensions, also pensions are kind of magic things. If you work for corporations for 40 years, 35, 40 years, then and depend on the size of the company, you probably expect retirement allowance, maybe around 25 million yen. So if you have a kind of mortgage still remain, maybe 10 million yen still remain, so you can sell it off. And the pensions, the government employee pension, corporate corporate pensions and national pensions. So government pension, uh, the the corporate pensions, probably you can earn quarter million yen each month if you're 35, 40 years, long work. So the, each month you kept paying the pension premiums. So quarter million yen each month. But if you are self-employed, if you don't work for the company, but for something by yourself, like you're a shop owner, working for the, some kind of business that doesn't have a kind of farm system. This case, you kept paying the pension, national pension, the people's pension. In this case, the maximum the figure you can receive as a monthly is somewhere around 60,000, 70,000. You kept paying many years. But this is the idea that you are kind of running your own business. So you are not affected by so-called corporate retirement age. You don't have to retire. Because you own your business. That's why keep working, and the amount of the monthly premium is kept at a low figure. So once you reach the age to be allowed to, for pension, amount is very small. So this is a big figure. How much you enjoy your the post retirement life depend on how much pension you receive, this amount or that amount. So anyway, the many people actually here in Japan feel very much the worry about the future. What's going on? The maybe many things happen to your life, and maybe it could be inflation, and if you leave the house, maybe need some reforms. Many things happened. So the Japanese actually owner workers, they actually live many decades under the umbrella of corporations that feel very much secure. You feel the security. So after retirement, there are many people, actually quota of the aged people, age after 65, 70. A quarter of them, they still keep working. Maybe different, kind of not full time, maybe some few days a week and whatever the conditions. So this, and also sometime around here, middle of 2010s, the government introduced some very much special measurement, the policies for people to the female market, expansion of the female market, and kind of aging people can easily join the labor force. The government actually shifting their stance to expand more workers to come to the labor market. That's why here, these are multiple reasons here. you see, most recent figure is 70 million the labor force, Japanese. Here, turn of the century, 68 million, and at the bottom, only 66 millions. But now, 70 millions. That is a great recovery. But this figure include foreigners, 2.5 million. 2.5 million foreigners. So that means pure Japanese, core Japanese market is somewhere around 67.5 million, because 2.5 million foreign workers included. This is a kind of reality of the Japanese labor market. And also, female, they are actually trend is something changing. Female workers called M mark. So age 16 years old, 18 years old, they started join the market after high school, senior high school, and then maybe college, maybe age 20, 22, around here. They, after graduation, they come to join the labor market. And this is some at the late 20s or early 30s. They kind of peak. And they marry. And having baby, family. So they stay at home. And when kids reach somewhere teenage or maybe university age, then they come back to labor market. So this is a kind of 40, 50, 50s. And then 60, 65-year-old. And then they are leaving the labor market. So this is a kind of M mark. This M mark has been changing. Now they actually they married and give birth to the baby, but their companies, society itself, municipalities, they actually having some kind of program to support the young mother. So the mother maybe before kind of pregnant time, several months or maybe half a year, special leave from company, and after that, because some support they used to be. They have to manage themselves, everything by themselves. So it is very difficult to continue working if you have a baby. But because of some system different, there are many support, so they actually quickly come back, or they don't leave the company, kept their registration with the company, and then a year or two later they come back, and there are babies can be taken care by many different facilities. So this is also the kind of the help to increase the number of labor market. But this is very much the serious figure, because now 70 million is a big figure, but because of foreign workers, 2.5 million. So, but actually, Japanese actually labor power is shrinking. So this is a kind of big challenge for Japanese society. Not only government but corporations and any actual field of the society, how to deal with the less and less populations, and more and more people, particularly baby boomers. Baby boomers now middle of middle of 70s or second half of 70s. That means that they are gradually or quickly, rapidly reaching very much the age that they require the big fund, government fund, to take care of their life. So the birth rate, so baby boomers, 1947, 8, 9 each year, 2.6 million, 2.7 million new babies. But now, according to last year's figure, somewhere around 700,000. This is after the birth rate, number of births reached 1 million, down to 1 million. Then it's very quick, very short period of time. They reached 800,000. Now, about 700,000. That's the big population gap, generation gap. That is one of the reasons. When the young people, the babies now, 20 years later, they join the labor force. But each single year could be only 500,000 the newcomers. So how to support the society itself? We need the additional labor power, which means foreigners. So how to deal with that the change, increasing number of foreigners. That means they start influencing Japanese traditional actually schemes. So this is very much a things we are looking into, and problems have occurred already, and going to get more serious situation we have to face because of increase of the foreign population. Maybe it could be 5 million, 6 million, or could be more in recent years. When we say foreign workers, what are 2.5 million plus 1.5 million residents? What are they, the kind of people, from what part of the world they come to Japan for seeking for their opportunity? Yeah. So among 4 million, Chinese actually occupy the biggest figure, 900,000 Chinese. And second is Vietnam, 660,000. And then Korea, South Korea, of course, we mean, 400,000. and Philippines 340,000. Nepalese 270,000. Indonesia 230,000. Brazil 2100. 21,000, sorry. 210,000. So China, this is before Takaichi caused some friction with China. So maybe that happened autumn last year, and the Chinese stopped sending the people to Japan, and there are many things happened. And they actually canceled the student abroad to Japan. The Chinese people no longer actually easy to come to Japan. So this resident, if the Chinese working here, once they expire their contract and leave Japan, probably very few come from China. So this is probably the go down to second place, third place, fourth place gradually. In this case, Vietnam, 660,000. This is a very much big figure. So Vietnamese, many all over Japan. And why Vietnamese so common figure in Japan is that the Vietnam government itself is very much keen to send their people to Japan or maybe some other countries. They're expecting some big money transfer, and the Vietnamese are very eager to come to Japan. And even though there are currency, differences, probably year or two, people expect more money to receive and send the money back home. But now Japanese yen rate is very much poor situation, but still Vietnamese. And the Vietnamese are welcomed by many companies because they are very diligent, very much the skillful. Once they are properly taught, instructed things, they can work skillfully. And so the good reputation. And the Korea is neighboring countries, so they are permanent residents, special permanent residents, many, and they actually Koreans are easy to work in Japan because we share many some cultural things. And Philippines 340,000. This is also large numbers in the Philippines. They are very much the international minded people. Many speak English, and there used to be many Philippines, work at kind of entertainment business. They are dancing, singing, and very much having good hospitality. So kind of bars and kind of restaurant, drinking places, they are quite popular. We see many Philippine bars and recently many Philippines they are the college graduates. They come to join the many different working places, but one of increasing the Filipinos are seen in the nursing care, the facilities, and the Nepalese also very much common. They actually opened their restaurant, Indian restaurant, Nepalese Indian restaurant, uh, and Indonesia, Indonesia, 230,000. This is also large numbers. This is one of the reasons. Uh, the, there are some mosques in Japan. Mosques, one of the most famous mosques located in Tokyo is at Yoyogi Uehara, uh, Turkish mosque. That is a very much well-established mosques. Nationwide, nationwide. Until recent decades, the number of mosques, that means number of the Muslims in Japan, the only 20,000, 30,000. There, in Japan, we have a kind of Buddhism, Shintoism, Christianity, and some other new religions. But Islam is not a major part of Japanese society. And some people very surprised. We have 20, 30,000 Muslims. The Japanese, kind of Islam is very much difficult to understand religion. Religion is any religion has a deep kind of principles and the theories and many textbooks. But anyway, Islamic things not actually spread in Japanese society. That is the kind of image. So 20, 30,000, 40,000 Muslims in Japan. They are actually Pakistanis, Afghanistan, Turkish. So that figure doesn't actually reflect Japanese believers. They come from outside. That's why number exists, 20,000, 30,000. But now number of Islamic society, if we can say society, is somewhere around 300,000, 400,000. The numbers are bigger and bigger. One of the reasons is this Indonesia. There are kind of the Indonesia recently they start coming to Japan to work, and Indonesia except Bali Island, there are most of Indonesians Muslims. So when they come to work here, that means they don't go back home 1 month or two, a year and two, or could be 3 years. They actually need mosques to attend their prayers. So that's why all of a sudden, for many Japanese, all of a sudden, so many mosques all over Japan. Now said to be 160 mosques all over Japan. So they are still growing. That's why some local areas, they have some conflict. There are some Muslim organizations, they like to build open the mosques. So if mosque there are hundreds or thousands of people come to that kind of places, and if located at residential areas, very narrow street, and and there are many cars coming, and many people talking on the street, and that is a very much strange atmosphere created by kind of new environment. So this is a very much the difficult issue today. There are some kind of lawsuits, something going on. So these are the nationalities here in Japan. There are some, of course, some others 900,000, near 1 million people are more kind of mixed up small figures. So this is a different status. Foreigners live in Japan. That means they are under certain visa status. And permanent residents, 930,000. So near 1 million permanent residents. And Gijinkoku, the Gijinkoku, this is a Gijinkoku, three characters. This is a Gijutsu, technology. And this is a human. Human. And this is a international services. So they are kind of white colors. Under the visa status is 450,000, near 500,000 under this visa, so-called white colors. And then comes the blue color, of course. Blue color. Gino jishu means, Gino means technique or skill. Jishu is a kind of intern training. So this is the visa, technical intern training visa, near 500,000. And also 430,000 is a student. And 330,000 is a 特定技能 specific technique. People with specific technique. They are 330,000. So the actual blue colors, two different visas. One technical intern training, and specified technique. Different. This is an intern. This one is a professional. So this is a very much important part of actual visa. People who want to come to Japan to work must understand these regulations, and they are changing. They are shifting from unskilled workers to more skilled workers. So this one details the next episode.